Shapril Preston.
Hello and welcome to So You Graduated Now What? The podcast. I'm your host, Shapril. If you have never met me before, what's up? And thank you so much for tuning in. I cannot believe I have a podcast, you guys. Why are they still selling mics? Just everybody's getting a microphone. But I'm everybody, and y'all not taking my microphone because I paid for it. And that's that. I am so happy to have you guys here with me today. Y'all, I'm sorry. I'm literally so excited. My words get jumbled. I'm so excited. I cannot believe that at this point you guys are genuinely listening or watching the podcast. But let's just jump right in. Let's get to it. I want to start by saying today's episode is going to be different than what you can expect from the rest of them. Today is a story time. I want to tell you guys about what my life after college has looked like, just so that you guys can get to know me a little bit more. Y'all can get in my business a little bit more. And from there, then we can start talking. So at the end of this episode, we're going to be friends. So right now, we just met, but I'm about to tell y'all everything. And by the end, we're going to be besties at this point because y'all know everything my best friend knows. So here we go. I graduated from Virginia State University on May 13th, 2023. I got a Bachelor's of Arts in Mass Communication, and now I work in the spirits industry. I could not have imagined this is where I would be, but let's just rewind and literally go back to graduation day and walk through what life has looked like since I graduated and how I'm liking it because y'all, I am literally that person that something's always happening to. Well, I was. We're going to get into that. I was that person, but I'm not anymore. So let's just start with life right after school. So I graduated on May 13th. And from there, I was just in my apartment, chilling, vibing, watching TV, letting it was it was like that commercial where he was like, you're sitting on the couch, your life's passing you by. That was literally me until it was time for me to come to Chicago. So I stayed at my college apartment until around the end of June. And in that time, I was going to get a part-time job to save some money for when I moved. I tried to get this job at this local coffee shop, but I didn't get it. But I think it was because she knew I was leaving in genuinely like 3 weeks. So yeah. So once that happened, I was like, well, there's that. I'm not doing that anymore. So I did not save any money. So there was a video of Taraji P. Henson at an award show. And she basically said when she moved to California, she had $500 in her pocket, her toddler on her hip. Now, I didn't have a toddler on my hip, but I did move to Chicago with probably $700 in my pocket. I don't be like me, be better. Don't be like me, be better. So I stayed at the apartment until the end of June, and then my official move-in date was July 1st. So I started getting everything ready. I was getting the U-Haul and packing everything. So I got the U-Haul, and this U-Haul, number one, somebody tell U-Haul to stop letting any and everybody take it, because why am I taking a U-Haul across the United States? Chappelle Preston, me. They don't, okay. It's no requirements. Like at this point, it's no requirements. So I pick the U-Haul up, and I ended up having to drive by myself because the person who was driving with me, literally at the last second, her job was like, yeah, we can't give it to you off. So I ended up driving from Virginia to Chicago in a U-Haul with my car behind the U-Haul by myself. So I go home. I'm like, it's going to be okay. I'm going to vibe. And I got my brother to pack the U-Haul. We loaded my car. You guys, I turned the switch and the U-Haul would not turn on. And I'm like, girl, we're in my driveway. We're in my driveway. So I had to call roadside assistance in my driveway. I haven't even left the house. They come out and it was some kind of switch. They were like, oh, it just got turned off. Easy fix. Now I'm kind of scared because if I stop somewhere, is this going to happen? So I'm like, whatever. I go home, I sleep, I leave around 4, 5 in the morning. Now, to leave my house and come to Chicago, you need to go up Lover's Leap, which is in some part of Virginia. I don't know what that's technically called, but you have to go up Lover's Leap for the fastest route. However, Lover's Leap is very steep and very narrow. I can't imagine me on a U-Haul with a car behind it going up Lover's Leap. So I had to go the long way. So a 10-hour drive quickly turned into a 15, 16-ish hour drive. Yeah, I was so fed up. So I get on the road, I'm driving, and I drive through West Virginia, no problems. But y'all, I was literally going up mountains, down mountains. It's like, make sure, like, on the again, you all needs to stop letting any everybody take those daggone trucks. On the window, it said if you're going down a mountain, put it in low gear. It was a thing that said low gear, and I clicked it, but I don't know if that was really what I was supposed to. I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl, so I'm just really on vibe. So I'm going up these mountains, down these mountains. I'm just vibing, praying that my car don't come off. That's all I'm praying. God, please don't let my car come off. So I keep driving. I drive through West Virginia. I get through Kentucky. Kentucky was smooth. It was very smooth. Straight through Kentucky. West Virginia had like a gajillion tolls and a bunch of mountains, but Kentucky, it was kind of straight through. So I get to Ohio. And by the time I get to Ohio, okay, I'm like, I'm tired. Now I'm sleepy. I'm so tired. My mom is like, you should get a hotel. So I go, I get a hotel. Mind y'all, keep in mind, I have $700 to last me. This was July 1st. My first day at work was July 17th. So 2 weeks after July 17th, $700 had to last me. Y'all know that was not happening. So so I stop, I get a hotel room. They put me on the first floor. I have a fear of being on the first floor because I feel it's too easily accessible. Anybody can come in here and get me. So I genuinely couldn't sleep because I just felt like something was going to happen. I'm up, I'm down, I'm tossing, I'm turning. I finally go into a sleep, and then something loud happened in the hallway, and I was like, what's going on? And from there it was cut. So I got hungry, so there was a Wendy's down the street. Now, why did I not just go and walk to the Wendy's? That was back in my non-healthy days. We're gonna get there. But I take this U-Haul with my car in this little parking lot down to this Wendy's. And y'all, why am I driving through the drive-through? And I hit the trailer. The trailer like scratched on one of the poles. It dented the trailer in. The tires was basically the way that it dented. If I kept driving and the tire kept rotating, it was going to pop the tire. So I'm stressed because I only got $700 and I just paid for a hotel room, and I'm buying Wendy's, and I had to put gas in this U-Haul all the way up here. So I'm like, oh, they're going to try to charge me for this trailer. Like, now, if I wasn't panicked or I wasn't feeling no type of way, that was the moment I started getting into my head. So I called roadside assistance. They're like, we're not going to be there until around midnight. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I sit down. I try to eat my Wendy's. At this point, I'm not even hungry. My appetite has left. So I didn't even eat that Wendy's. That's the crazy part. I think I ate like 3 chicken nuggets. So I'm sitting there waiting. They finally get there, and he's like, oh, it's perfect that you called us because this would have popped, number one. And number two, who put your car on here? Because this car is going to fall off. And I was like, me and my brother put it on there. He was like, y'all didn't do a good job. Well, nobody taught us. So he was like, where did you drive from? And I said, Virginia. He said, to Ohio? And I said, yes. And he said, and this car's been like this the whole time? I was like, yeah. He was like, this car was on here by the grace of God. I don't know how it didn't fall off. So go ahead and pause the story right there. That was the first moment where I started to just choose to see the good in situations because I was so stressed out about having to pay for it or whatever the case may be. But in reality, I feel as though I had to hit that, have to call them so that they could put my car back on there, because imagine I was driving and the car came off, God forbid, hit the car behind me, or who knows what would have happened. So I started to see the good. So he fixes everything. He's like, you're all good to go, whatever. Now, this was in the time when right in the Midwest, there was a huge thunderstorm situation going on. So I'm in Ohio. I have to go through Indiana and then to Illinois. It's already telling me that it's raining in Illinois. It tells me there is a severe thunderstorm warning over all of Indiana. And there is the like 95% chance of rain in Ohio. So now it's around 1 a.m. and I'm trying to decide, do I get on the road and drive at night, or do I wait till the morning and it's more than likely going to be storming? So I chose to drive at night. I felt like it would be less cars, and I just don't like driving in the rain. So I get on the road, I start driving. I'm driving. I was almost out of Ohio when I stopped at this hotel. So I'm driving, and when I get in Indiana, I'm on this long straight road. I think it was maybe 2 or 3 lanes. It's a long straight road. It's valleys over on the right. So I'm looking over in the valley. I can hear the thunder. I can see the lightning like deep off into the valley. And I'm just saying, God, please do not let that get over here. Let it stay out there until I pass through. That is all I want. That is all that I'm asking God. Please let that storm stay out there in that valley until I pass. So I'm driving, driving, driving. And I finally passed. And I did get some rain, but it was nothing crazy. It was just some moderate rain. So I get through there. I get to Illinois. Y'all, Chicago gave me the craziest welcome. Honestly, my first 72 hours in Chicago, I was like, now, was this the best idea for me? Because this is a little crazy. So, um, I get in Chicago, and apparently this is the first time it has ever severely rained the way that it's raining. Everything is flooded. This is when they had the first NASCAR street race. They had to cancel the street race. It was terrible. So I'm moving in. I go to where I have to go pick up my lease documents and my keys and everything. I go in, I get it. Y'all come outside, and I don't know what came over me, but I literally fall to the ground, and I'm like hands and knees in this puddle. I fell in a puddle, y'all. I dropped the papers. I'm like, oh, okay. So we're just gonna play with Chappelle. Okay, Chicago. I'm feeling your vibe right now. I'm not feeling it, but I'm feeling it. So we go. I get in the car. I look at KJ, and I'm like, did you just see that? And she was like, what? And I was like, I just fell in a puddle. I'm soaking wet right now. She was like, how did you fall in a puddle? And I was like, girl, my life is chaotic. I don't know. So we get in the car. We drive up late. Pause. I forgot about this part. Instead of them, now I know where to go. I could have taken Lakeshore to go to where I was going, and they took me through the city. So imagine me going through Michigan Ave and stuff with this huge U-Haul with this car behind me. How I didn't hit nothing now. After that experience, I do feel like I'm a skilled driver. You're not going to play with me when it comes to driving, okay? Okay. So we come to my house. I'm so excited. I run upstairs. I walk in. Y'all, it's not the right apartment. I applied, I thought, for a renovated apartment. Essentially, it was just a few differences. So the counters were different, the appliances were different. There were some different fixtures in the bathroom, and I'm like, I think the floors might have been different. It just was different, and I was so upset. I was like, as if nothing else could go wrong. This is not the apartment I asked for. So I'm texting the leasing agent. Well, I'm emailing the leasing agent. She is not here because it's Sunday. She's basically like, well, there's nothing we can do right now. If you want, we can basically cancel this lease, start a new lease. I was going to have to pay a difference. Y'all only had what? At this point, we was probably pushing like 6, maybe 5:45 left. I was like, girl, no, just don't even worry about it. It's all good. I'm gonna get what I got. Okay, it's fine. So, so I love the apartment now. Whatever. So, we start moving everything in. I mean, it's pouring down rain. It's pouring down rain. Honestly, the biggest shout out goes to Kaija and her boyfriend. Like, the biggest of biggest shout outs, as big as they can get. Not we. They moved everything in. I don't do that heavy lifting. I am just a girl. I am weak. Spaghetti arms, spaghetti noodles. They moved me in like an hour, and I was so appreciative. And at that point, I didn't even know Kaiser's boyfriend. He was just doing that because he loved that girl. And I was like, thank you so much. I am so appreciative. Like, you guys don't even know. So at that same time, all my line sisters was coming down. Jada, Carissa, Laura, Tamaya, they was all coming down. So Jada was at the airport. She met us here at the house. And we just started kind of trying to figure stuff out. We took the U-Haul, dropped it off. Everything was good. They wasn't worried about me hitting the thing. Everything was good. And so then after that, you guys, everything seemed to be going on. I was like, okay, it's not that bad. You guys, my car got towed from my apartment. I went to the tow company. Now, they are nicer here than they are in Virginia, because in Virginia, they are nasty when they tow your car. The lady was so nice. I was like, ma'am, I was literally moving in. My things are still in the car. Please. And she was like, if you just get the leasing agent to call us and say that you were still moving in, we'll give you your car. Again, I told you guys my leasing agent was not here, so she never got the email. She got the email probably a day and a half later, and she was like, there's nothing we can do at this point. She was like, I'll call, but it's probably not going to work. So it, in fact, did not work. So it added an extra day that I had to pay for my car being there because it took her so long to read the email. And I was like, okay, perfect. So that $500 is now probably $275, maybe $300. I think I re-upped. My people's looked out. But so I hadn't even got groceries or nothing for my house. And I still hadn't even started work and had 2 weeks of work before I could get a paycheck. So my sisters ended up leaving. Danae ended up coming out after my sisters. And things were pretty okay. Like, in my head, I was stressed out. But I don't think everybody knew I was as stressed out as I was, because I was severely stressed out because the money just was not moneying like I needed it to money. And it was my fault again. I said I should have got a part-time job, but here we are. You live and you learn. So after that, that's when I started to transition into corporate. So I started my job on July 17th, and I loved it. I was like, wow, like we do well, it's cool. I didn't know what I was really getting myself into. Now, I will tell you guys, I used to be a do things, ask questions later kind of person. That's how I ended up at Virginia State. I thought Virginia State was a good idea. They reached out and was like, we want you to submit an application. I submitted it. I got in and I was there. The first time I ever saw Virginia State, thought about Virginia State for real, was that tip, which is the orientation session in the summer. I do the same thing with jobs, moving to Chicago, sight unseen, apartment, everything. That's how I got the apartment I got. See, we live and we learn. So after that, I basically just decided I'm just going to focus on work rather than focusing on not having money. So I started meal prepping so that I didn't have to pay for food out. I started being just smarter with my money. I was making a little stretch a long way. What I will say is, anybody who's ever been in hard times, been to college, anything like that, you know the power of making $50 last 2 weeks and $500 being gone in 2 days. It is really a balance that needs to be studied, but I'm just saying, it's crazy how fast that can happen. So essentially, I just decided not to let any of that stress me out. It was way bigger than me, and I couldn't have that kind of stress on my heart. So I just started finding free stuff to do, and I would go to that. Or if we was having something for work, I would go to that and call it a day, because I was not about to get stressed out. So fast forward, after I finally start making money from work, obviously. But even then, when I started getting paid, those checks had places to go, things to see and things to pay for. So it wasn't until around the fourth check that I really got to start making that emergency fund and starting to be a little bit smarter and more financially responsible. So finally, I had a little bit of money so I could start going out. I could start meeting new people, which I needed to do. So Jada had came back down here for something for work, and we were in this place, and we were all in the bathroom. You know, girls are gonna be in the bathroom like, oh my god, girl, you're so cute. Oh my gosh, you're cute too. Blah 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 blah. So we're in the bathroom, and my now friend Ariel walked in, and she was chatting. She was like, oh my god, you guys are so cute. And we were like, you're so cute. And we were like, oh my gosh, girl. So she got ready to leave, and I was like, no, Jada, we gotta get her Instagram. That could be my friend. Like, that could be my friend. So I'm like, oh, you from Chicago? She like, yeah. I was like, can I get your Instagram? Let's be friends. She was like, yeah, girl, let's be friends. Now, I was scared. I don't think I reached out to Ariel to probably like 3-4 weeks after we had met. And I was like, hey, I don't even remember where we were, but we met in the bathroom. I just wanted to see like, if you still want to be friends. She was like, oh my gosh, yes, girl, let's be friends. And that's how me and her became friends. And I was so appreciative. But what I have started to learn and apply is that not everybody is here forever. You have to be okay with that. That is the hard part, being okay with people who you think are supposed to be here forever not being a part of the story forever. For instance, I had a friend here and I was like, oh, this is cool vibes. Like, yeah, okay, this is vibes. And we just stopped talking. Like, literally stopped speaking, never talked again, nothing. And y'all remember at the beginning, I had said I used to be a person of chaos and bad things used to always just come upon me. We joke about it now, but that used to be my reality. And so now it's more so when bad things happen, I find the good, you know? So I was kind of sad. I was like, geez, I thought me and that person were going to be cool friends. Like, that was good vibes. And we didn't. So I was like, what was the good that came out of that? And the good was they introduced me to the church that I go to now. And I go basically every Sunday when I can't go, I'm watching online. And I was like, that was perfect because that was in 2024 when that happened. And I had already told myself I wanted to go to church more and start, getting more into that. And I feel like they were just the puzzle piece that got me to the right church. That got me to the right church. And that was perfect. I was like, okay, Bookie, you got me to a good church. Okay, now that's fine. I can deal with you going on over there because you did something good here in my life. So that was really like navigating, learning to make new friends in a place where it's not like when you're in college and every single person is new and we're all looking for friends. A lot of people here are from here, they have family, and you just have to hope and pray that they're going to want to include you into what they already have going on, which I got lucky and my people do. But it can be scary. That is a really scary part of moving somewhere. So once I got friends, now it's time to start creating a routine. I had to figure out what I was going to be doing, etc. So I started trying to make content more and just enjoying life a little bit more. I was young. I was making good money at this point. I was saving. I had my head on right. So I started working out. Now, I'm not going to lie. It's kind of like a villain story. I was like, what is a real reason to start working out? And homecoming was coming up. See, I got my homecoming t-shirt on if you're watching. Homecoming was coming up. And I was like, when I go back for homecoming, no shade, but I'm trying to be the baddest thing walking. So I started, I think it was 52 days before homecoming, and I lost around 13 pounds in that time. So I started August 22nd, and here we are almost at August 22nd, 2024. I think when I first started, I was somewhere around 245, and now I'm around 215. So cheers to 30 pounds gone. It is so crazy how you don't realize how out of shape you are until you're in better shape, and how much more things I can do without being out of breath or feeling like I'm dying or etc. And so I was basically just looking for ways to become more active. So I've done different things. And this is a great way, again, to meet friends because I go to a boxing gym. So I see the same people all the time. And it's like, oh, girl, you were doing so good. Or I like your shirt or whatever the case. I like your classes, blah, 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 blah. I've done an aerial class. I've done yoga. I've done a 5K. I've done a 10K. I'm just doing stuff. And then you meet people on Instagram and it's like, oh my gosh, girl, you run, I run. Well, I don't run. I just run for play, not for real. But that is really how I feel like you start to, meet people. So everything essentially works. I don't want to say in a circle of life like Lion King, but essentially that's how it's working. Everything is working in a consistent circle. So then outside of that, I really just started to try new things like hairstyles. I did not know I knew how to do my hair the way that I do, but now I feel like I'm always doing something crazy to my hair and it comes out so nice. I cook and I'm like, in college, it wasn't that I didn't like to cook. I just never had to. Charles loved to cook. Jada loved to cook. So if everybody loved to cook, why don't I just wash the dishes, Why don't I just wash the dishes? So I never really had a reason to be cooking in college when they enjoy cooking. So for the first time, I started cooking, and I also was challenging myself not to eat out a lot. So that was working. I was saving money. I was trying new recipes, and things really were working out. And I feel like the biggest thing is you have to stay resilient, because when all those good things are happening, sometimes bad things are coming, and you have to be prepared for that and just understand that when the bad comes, like, knock it out so you can keep on going, because we just don't dwell in negativity over here. We have to let the negativity go so you can feel the negativity. You can let it impact you for a day max and then move on. So 2023 was pretty good. I tried a lot of new things in Chicago. I experienced a lot of cool things. And so then 2024 came around, and 2024 came in. And to think that we're even already in August of 2024 is quite insane. But 2024 came in throwing hands. Quite literally. On New Year's Day or New Year's Eve, I was coming in my house. Well, I was going out of my house to go get some food, and I locked my keys in my house. And it was a day when the leasing office was closed, so they couldn't come unlock it for me. Called a locksmith. That was like $275. So I had an emergency fund, and this is the kind of things that I would use it on. I don't know if that's the best idea, but that's what I would use it on. So I called them, $275 to unlock my door. Killed my whole mood. I didn't want to do anything for New Year's. I was like, whatever. You really just blew me. Like, if this is how 2024 about to go, I'm not vibing with it. I'm not vibing with it. I go on throughout January, and then February is really when I was like, oh, okay, 2024, this what we doing? Because if this is what we doing, I'm not. No, I'm not doing that. So February came along, had to pay dues for my sorority. Then right after I paid dues, it was my tire blew, and I had to get all 4 new tires. I got all 4 new tires, and then I had to get new brakes. And then there was something else that I had to get fixed. I can't remember what it was. That month, like February, really ran me like $1,700. And I was just like, literally, Kaisha can be the advocate. Every time she texts me, it was like, do you want to go here? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do this? Anything. It literally could have been, do you want to go to McDonald's? I was like, if the budget allows. If the budget allows. And she was like, at some point, she was like, girl, what's going on with the February budget? I was like, child, don't ask me, ask them. Ask them what's going on with the February budget. So I feel like I just had to really stay resilient and bounce back. Start the emergency fund back over, keep it going. Well, not start it over, but build it back to where it was, because we just took all of this money out of it. And I just was like, okay, we're going to bounce back and we're going to keep moving. So when March came, I did a lot in March, and really from March on, I don't want to say been outside, but I've just been experiencing more because we're young, and who knows if I'm going to live in Chicago forever. Why am I sitting in the house? So I just decided to start living life. In my opinion, the biggest takeaway has just been being resilient, bouncing back when things don't go your way, and truly trying to find positive in every negative. And the biggest one is when something negative happens, like I said, really only give it a day. It's okay to feel off for the day, feel sometimes like your stomach will hurt and you just don't feel it and it's just not good vibes, but let that go. Let it go. We have one life to live and we don't have time to be upset about it. So genuinely, in my opinion, if you don't take anything from this story and the ups and the downs, there were some really great wins. You know, I done a lot with work. There was a lot of positive. I know this may seem like things were going negative. It's just I've never shared the negative, and I want you guys to understand the real me and what I really do. But on the flip side, things were going well. I did start to love my job. I figured I was going to love it, but I really did love it. I was winning against the competition. I was figuring things out. I was learning how to leverage myself and making those connections. And even now into 2024, I'm in a new role, and, you know, I'm hosting events and happy hours and stuff like that. And things are really looking up. I've met a lot of people. I've done a lot of good things. I've been to, just this year alone, I've been to Nicki Minaj, Megan Thee Stallion, Luke Combs, Sam Hunt, Chris Brown. I've been to like 5 or 6 concerts, and just to see now where life is, literally a year ago, this is August that you guys are watching this, literally a year ago, I was trying to figure out how to make ends meet, and here we are. Now I have the money and the will and the freedom to go to these concerts or go see my friends or have my friends come out here and see me or whatever the case may be. And it is just a very humbling experience because you go through so much in the first year. And if you let it, things will seem like they're not going how you thought they were supposed to go. And that's one of the biggest takeaways. Don't try to anticipate what your first year is going to look like, because genuinely everybody's is going to look different. Mine's going to look different from yours. Yours is going to look different from mine. And from the next 3 people, we're all going to look different. The key is never giving up. That really is the key. So genuinely, if you take nothing away from this podcast, from this episode, or from any other episode that is to come, I just want you to understand that life is not going to be easy. It's not going to be peaches and cream all the time, but some days it will be easy and some days it will be peaches and cream. And just take that from me, from the guests that'll come on in the future. And now that we have this community, I can talk to you guys about my experiences. You guys can talk to me about yours. We can talk to our guests. And at the end of the day, we're all going to just share our experiences and how we overcame it, and hope to just inspire the next person, and help make life after graduation a little bit more manageable. And to the people who haven't graduated yet, maybe you're a junior or a senior, make sure you know these are the things I wish I'd done different, i.e. I wish I would have got a part-time job and saved up a little bit more money, or this is what I would have done the same, or this is what I could have done. This was an option. Sometimes you just don't know. I was a first generation graduate, so I didn't know a lot. I just happened to have good people around me. But, our goal is to help people who look like us get further ahead, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed getting to know me and my story a little bit more. I will see you guys next Wednesday. If you're watching, you see my little wave. If you're listening, thank you so much for listening this far into the podcast and really hanging out with me, because I told you guys at the beginning, we're friends now. Y'all know my business. Y'all know I move with $700. Y'all know too much of my business. Y'all know entirely too much of my business. So we're friends now. So make sure you guys are checking us out on all platforms at So You Graduated Now What. Check us out. We're literally everywhere. Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. Check us out. There is a lot to come, and I am super excited. I don't think I've ever been this excited about any project I've ever done. And if you know me, I've literally done everything. Pictures, graphics, nails, everything you can think of, I've probably done it. And I even had a podcast at one point, and to see the dedication that's going into this one versus that one, it is awe-inspiring. So I hope to have you guys back again next Wednesday. And if you have any thoughts about what you want to hear about, or what maybe you're uncertain about going into life after graduation, please do not hesitate to DM us, comment, however you got to get in touch with us. Let us know. Well, I say us, but it's literally just me. But let me know so we can get it on the agenda. So yeah, I loved hanging out with you guys. Until next week, I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.